Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Moderman. I just wanted to say hi, that I hope you're all well, and just spend a little bit of time reviewing Act 4 of Twelfth Night and then get into part of Act 5. We're not going to do the whole thing because Act 5 is one giant scene in which Shakespeare makes things a little more complex but then begins to unravel this huge conundrum that we've been working through. Anyway, the best way, obviously, if you don't have your book, you can. If you do have your book, you can follow along. If you don't have your book, just Google Twelfth Night Shakespeare PDF, and this comes up. It will take you to the play, and you can scroll down to Act 5. I have Act 5 pulled up here on another page, so I'm going to start there. If you remember, at the end of Act 4, we have Sebastian and Olivia getting married, and there's some craziness there. We have Sebastian getting in a fight with Andrew, Toby getting into trouble with Olivia because he ends up dueling Sebastian. We have the fruition of the trick on Malvolio, where they try to make him believe that he's crazy. But it ends with Feste saying that he will get Malvolio the things that he needs to write a letter. And then, of course, Sebastian and Olivia get married. So in Act 5, here we have, it's before Olivia's house, and the clown enters. The clown, Feste, would be carrying a letter from Malvolio. Malvolio has written a letter to Olivia as he wanted to. Remember, the clown was going to help him with that. Fabian sees Feste, the clown, carrying this letter and says, "Now, as thou lovest me, let me see this letter." And the clown says, "Good Master Fabian, grant me another request." Fabian, anything. The clown, "Do not desire to see this letter." Fabian says, "This is to give the dog," and then recompense desire the dog again. Basically, Fabian would love to see this letter and see what Malvolio wrote. The clown is not, Feste is not giving it to him. They're interrupted by the Duke. Guess who finally shows up to Olivia's house at the end of the play? The Duke. He finally decides to come to Olivia's house and see her. Well, there's a problem, right? Because we know, dramatic irony, that Olivia's already married Sebastian, who she thinks is Cesario. Well, anyway, he interrupts the clown and Fabian, and he says, "Belong you to the Lady Olivia?" Clown says, "Yes, we are part of her trappings." The Duke says, "Hey, I know you, right?" And the clown says, "Yes, I'm doing well. I am the better for my foes and the worse for my friends," which, again, is a paradox. It doesn't seem to make any sense. It's a seemingly contradictory statement that proves true. The Duke's like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. You're the better for your friends." And the clown says, "No, the worse." And the Duke says, "How can this be?" Now, again, this is how Feste makes his money. He's witty and smart. And he says, "Marry, sir, they praise me and make an ass of me. My friends do. Now my foes tell me plainly that I am an ass. So by my foes, sir, I profit in knowledge of myself. And by my friends, I am abused. So that conclusions to be kisses. If your four negatives make your two affirmatives, why then the worse for my friends and the better for my foes." So basically he says, my foes let me know who I really am and my friends lie to me. The Duke thinks this is great. This is excellent. "By my troth, sir, you please to be one of my friends." And the Duke says, "You shall not be worse for me." Hey, once again, he gives gold. He gives Feste gold. Now you're going to see Feste try to get more money out of the Duke here, right? "That would be a double dealing, sir. I would make another." The Duke says, "You give me ill counsel. Put your grace in your pocket, sir, for this once, and let your flesh and blood obey it." And the Duke gives him another one. "Well, I will be so much a sinner to be a double dealer. There's another. Primo, secundo, tercio." It's a good play. And the good saying is, the third pays for all. The triplex, sir, is the good tripping measure, or the bells of Saint Bennet. "Sir, may put you in mind. 1, 2, 3. The Duke won't give him any more money, though. He says, "You can fool no more money out of me at this throw. If you will let your lady know, Olivia, that I am here to speak with her, and bring her along with you, that may awake my bounty further." Basically, hey, go get Olivia, and then I maybe will give you some more money. The clown says, "Hey, okay, I'll go get her." Basically, I'm not going to read all this. Viola comes up and says, "This is the man that did rescue me," okay? Antonio comes in with the officers. He's in handcuffs, and she says, "He rescued me." The Duke recognizes him right away. So you're going to see a conversation between the Duke and Antonio. Remember, Antonio says that he's Orsino's enemy. He is wanted in Olivia. Wanted in Illyria, not Olivia. The Duke says, that face of his I do remember well, yet when it was last it was besmeared by black as Vulcan in the smoke of war. A brabbling vessel he was captain of, for the shallow draught and bulk unprizable, with which such scalable grapple he did make, with the most noble bottom of our fleet, that very envy and tongue of loss cried fame and honor on him. What's the matter? The officer says, this is Antonio that took the Phoenix and are fraught from Candy, and this is what he did on the Tiger board when your young nephew Titus lost his leg. Here in the streets, in desperate shame and state, in private brabble, we did apprehend him. The officer basically says, this is who Antonio is. He took this ship called the Phoenix. He aborted the Tiger. He's a pirate, basically, right? And apparently has stolen some things. Viola intercedes for him. She says, he did me kindness, sir, and drew on my side. Remember, he did. He saved her from the duel, But in conclusion, put strange speech upon me. I know not what 'twas, but distraction. She's like, I'm not sure what he was talking about. Right? The Duke Orsino says to Antonio, notable pirate, thou saltwater thief, what foolish boldness brought thee to their mercies, with whom in terms so bloody and so dear hast made thine enemies? The Duke asks a great question to Antonio. Why did you come here? You knew you were wanted. It makes no sense to come here. Great question. Antonio responds, Orsino, noble sir, be pleased that I shake off these names you give me. Antonio never yet was thief or pirate, though I confess, on base and ground enough, Orsino's enemy. So he says, I didn't steal all that stuff. Okay, he sounds like a typical guy. I didn't do that. It wasn't me. I was framed, right? But then he goes into his reason as to why he's here. A witchcraft drew me hither. That most ungrateful boy there by your side, from the rude seas enraged and foamy mouth I did redeem. A wreck past hope he was. Okay, I saved that boy next to you. He thinks again Viola is Sebastian. His life I gave him, and did thereto add my love without retention or restraint. All in his dedication. For his sake I did expose myself, pure for my love, into the danger of this adverse town. Drew to defend him when he was beset. Right? Where being apprehended, his false cunning, not meaning to partake with me in danger, taught him to face me out of his acquaintance, and grew a 20 years removed thing, while I would wink. In other words, I helped him, I saved him, I saved his life, I defended him, and he denied me. Antonio is really angry here. He's really hurt. He's in a lot of trouble. He denied me my own purse, which I had recommended to his use not half an hour before. So Antonio gives the whole thing here. I saved him from the sea. I defended him. I protected him. And he betrayed me. Viola looks at the Duke and goes, how can this be? The Duke asks a good question. When came he, right, the boy, Viola, to this town? Today, my lord, and for 3 months before, no interim, not a minute's vacancy, both day and night did we keep company. Okay, now this is interesting because Antonio says, we were together for 3 months. Now I mentioned this to you guys in class, that there's a time problem here. There's a time problem in this that, okay, so has this play taken 3 months? It sure doesn't seem like it's taken 3 months, but according to Antonio, it has. So the Duke and Viola have been together for 3 months, right? All of this stuff, Andrew's been there for 3 months. It just seems like this is a mistake time-wise, that the play has not really taken that long. So the Duke catches Sebastian in this because he's like, here comes the Countess. He sees Olivia coming. Now heaven walks on earth, right? He's so enthralled with her beauty. But for thee, this is to Antonio, fellow, thy words are madness. 3 months this youth have attended on me, but more of that anon. Take him aside. So this first part of Act 5 sets up the fact again, Shakespeare's making this a little tighter, right? This not a little tighter. Antonio is now calling out Viola and saying that, he denied Antonio after all the good things that he had done. So we're going to stop here. This will be part 1. And then I will post probably at least 2 more on this act because I don't want you to get too much at once. So we're going to stop here Okay, and we'll pick up with Olivia and the Duke's conversation in the next video.